Yeah.
All right, guys. You guys ready?
Hi, everybody. My name is Terry Martin. I'm the product owner for our team, the FAST team. For the FAST team, which is a framework available for Scrum teams, and this is a framework that a coach would use to coach a Scrum team, including the product owner and the business and the Scrum Master. So you can see the names of the teams down there, and I want to express my appreciation to everybody that participated on this project. This is not my computer.
Maybe one of you want to drive and be the
No, I got it.
control. Could you go on the other side so you're not sitting on the other
So-
side? There you go. Perfect.
So this is
Awesome.
a coaching framework. As you can see, we identified 7 key areas, and then what we did is we broke down those areas to subgroups, and then we're going to talk about 5 of those subgroups. The areas are initial assessment, so the coach would do an assessment of the team and report kind of on the scorecard that we just saw. Targeted coaching, so this would be coaching to the project manager, to the to the Scrum Master. Addressing problems that could come from a variety of different sources. How to become a high-performance team. Building relationships, building trust, and training. So what we're going to do is you can see that there are 5 in red that we drilled down to get additional details, and some of the team members are going to present those details.
Thank you, Terry. Hey everybody, my name is Dipender Singh, and when we started digging into it, we came to the top priorities, what every coach kind of faces in our day-to-day lives. So one of the things was addressing problems, dealing with resistors, how do we deal with tough people or the teams on our day-to-day basis. So as a coach, you can train your coach or team to set team agreements if they don't exist already. But team agreements, we can start it with in the beginning. Everybody has to have input, so we have to have a specific and unique to the team. It's not like all teams will follow the same thing. And we revisit them if necessary. So after a sprint, we have a retro, and then if there are any team agreements that needs to be changed, people are coming late due to some personal things. Do we have to move the timings, or do we need more beer? So it has to be specific and unique, retrospective, and incorporate, again, change the team agreements as needed. And then third was anytime if there is a conflict within the team, that means it's a change urge. So we have to change our team agreement, and we have to discuss the impact and discuss the consequences if we don't align with the team agreements. And it is very important to take our yay from everybody. It's not like Scrum Master or PO is kind of setting the agreements, it's the whole team. So from a coaching perspective, this is one of the most important things that we drilled into, and we'll continue moving on. Mary.
Thank you. My name is Mary Kelly. I'm going to talk with you today about dealing with coaching the non-performers, one of my favorite topics.
Bring the mic up, please, Mary. Closer to your chin. There you go.
Closer to my chin.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So first off, it has to be an honest conversation. Don't try to soft sell it. Don't try to pussyfoot around it. Get right to the point. Make sure it's honest. Give feedback, both negative and positive, but make sure that they understand that there's an issue that you're there to discuss with them that you need to address. If you're the Scrum Master and you have to have that conversation and you're not comfortable with it, role play with another Scrum Master or with a coach there in your office. It's always good to practice and make sure not that you have a script, but that you have some bullet points, some ideas of what you want to discuss with the individual. You want to point out the positive and the negative, as I said, but make sure that you're clear that the discussion is about the negative, about the things that aren't happening, that need to happen, and that should be happening to be a contributing member of the team. Be very clear on what the issue or concern is. No vague statements like, you just don't seem to be getting along with people. Give specifics. Give specifics about you're not making commitments. And here are some examples of when you haven't made your commitments. or you've been delivering code that isn't unit tested before it gets handed off to QA, so it causes a lot of defects to be generated. Make sure you're very specific in that feedback. Sometimes there's things that are happening outside of the work environment that you need to be aware of. There might be an illness in the family, there might be some other family disruption that would be important to know about in order to help that person succeed. So find out, ask about those kinds of things if there's anything else going on. And if the individual is comfortable sharing that with the teams, that the team has awareness of it, that's fine. If not, ask if you can at least let the team know that there is something going on in their life, and that for this time being, we're going to have to work with the person on making sure that they can be successful and maybe not assigning them more difficult tasks or as many tasks as what we would normally do. And then finally, if you're not seeing improvement, if you're continuing to see the same behaviors, you're having the same discussion and you're not getting anywhere, you may have to document that issue and, whoa. You may, and you may have to escalate it to their managers. I do once around up personally. I have that discussion with the person. If I have to have it again, I engage their manager and I have a conversation with the three of us to make sure that everyone's on the same page as far as what's not working. With that, Leslie?
Hi, I'm Leslie Downey. I'm going to talk about, in the context of trust, building trust, effective retrospectives. We felt like effective retrospectives would be a really key way to build trust across the team. So one of the things we talked about was creative ways to run retrospectives and to tailor the retrospective to the team. Like a really mature team could maybe do some really goofy retrospective. Maybe this team already has a lot of humor they're comfortable with, they're not totally serious. You could do some sort of more extreme kind of retrospectives where other teams may want to keep it kind of simple, etc. So tailor the retrospective to the team and also to the timing. So if it was a really certain kind of sprint that was a really difficult one, maybe a certain retrospective is good. If it was a really easy sprint, maybe, put up one word and we're done. And then be sure that at the end of the retrospective, you are highlighting areas for improvement and specifically like action items that can be taken. And so one thing we talked about is making those visible. So especially if you have like a board, a Scrum board with all your items on it, whether it be on a wall or on a computer, make it visible somewhere. Oh, here's the things in the retrospective we decided we're going to do this sprint. So let's not keep track of them and lose track of them. Another thing is to keep it put them as backlog items. So for that following sprint after you have the retrospective. And then just continual follow-ups throughout the sprint to make sure that things you agreed upon are being carried forward. And again, you mentioned it at the beginning of the next retrospective. So that's it.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carlos Weckman, and I'll be talking about assessments and velocity trends. One of the things we want to do is give coaches, or as coaches give Scrum Masters the tools to actually understand if there are issues. And one of the things we talked about was understanding velocity and how velocity, identifying things where committed versus delivered, and throughput, as it depends on velocity, is a way to identify if a team is having issues. So it's important that, there's different tools. We identify that. Going out there and understanding that this is a mechanism for doing that is kind of a key factor that we identified here.
Thanks, Carlos. Hi everyone, I'm Carolyn McGregor, and the final topic we're going to be talking about is coaching. So we did talk about coaching everybody within the Scrum team. So specifically, we're going to look at coaching the product owner within this. So we've all had great product owners and not so great product owners. So what are some of the things that we can work with them to is, of course, user stories and acceptance criteria, helping them learn how to write the good user stories. Some of that may entail not using the term user, but actually specify the role within it. Of course, maintaining the proper user story structure. So as a blank, I want to do blank so that I can blank. And within your acceptance criteria, you want to make sure that you're telling the what of the story, but not the how. Keep the execution out of it. Keep the story small and consumable. We want to make sure that they're actually going to be achievable within that time sprint. And of course, they should be independent. There should be no dependencies or anything holding back that, so they are deliverable. And negotiate, review, and discuss the stories with the entire team, so the team should not see it before the sprint reviews. 5 seconds left. We have all of our other epics way at the back of the room with everything broken down within there. So please, if you have any questions, throw them out to me now, or join us at the back to dive in a little further with us. Questions? What are your questions? All right, thanks everyone.